Good morning and welcome to Creative Mornings. Happy Friday, everybody. How are you all feeling? Hopefully waking up a bit, getting some coffee in the system. I know it's a bit early, but thank you for arriving. My name is Rachel, and I'm the co-host of the San Francisco chapter alongside Sophie sitting right here. So welcome and thanks for coming. Happy Friday. I hope you all enjoyed some sunshine this week. It was so beautiful out. And are looking forward to the weekend. If this is your first Creative Mornings event, can you please raise your hand? Yay! Welcome. We're so happy to have you. Creative Mornings is a free monthly breakfast series in over 237 cities across 60 countries around the world. So it's an amazing community. When you're traveling, I encourage you to go to other Creative Morning events. They're really cool. Every chapter does them a little bit differently. So it's a really great community. In addition to an amazing community, we have an amazing space this morning. So let's give a big thank you to our venue host, Golden Gate University, for welcoming us. A big thank you to Sue Ann, Irene, Andrea, and the whole team for all of their help this past month organizing today's talk. I'd like to quickly welcome Robert Schaffner, the Executive Director of the Ageno School of Business, to say a few words. Thank you, Robert.
Thank you and good morning. So I saw all those hands that went up for this is your first time at Creative Mornings. How many is this your first time at Golden Gate University? That's a fair number of people. And you know, we've just been around a little while. We got started in 1901, even before the earthquake. So this is our 123rd year. But we've been here that long educating adult learners. So that's our mission, is really to work with those that are thinking about changing their career, thinking about enhancing their career, thinking about doing something that they hadn't thought about, because the world's changing every single day. So I welcome you here to Golden Gate University. We're going to train you with skills that, what I like to say, are AI proof. We hear AI, 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 AI all the time. But you know, skills around empathy, emotional intelligence, the ability to deal with ambiguity when you're faced with it, resilience, grit, management, leadership, teamwork, all those things are important in the world today. But we also give you practical skills so that you know what to do with AI. You know what to do with information technology or with marketing. We have an amazing group of adjunct professors that are professionals in the fields that they're teaching about. So oftentimes what you learn in class one evening, you can take back and apply in your workplace the next day. So I welcome you here. Please reach out to the individuals in the back. We would love to talk to you about Golden Gate University and our amazing programs and how they may be able to help you. Now, I had a mentor that told me 3 B's: be good, be quick, and be gone. So I'm going to try to practice that. But I have to put on my other hat, because I am the chair of a nonprofit theater, the Lorraine Hansberry Theater, which has been in San Francisco for 43 years. And we are doing our next production starting next week, May 1st to May 5th. It's called No More Adjustments. And it is an experimental piece about or drama therapy, and how drama therapy can help you get questions answered about your life, about where you're going, about where you've been. And so that's going to be at Fort Mason at the Magic Theater. Starts on May 1, goes to May 5th. Very quick run. But if you want some information about that, there'll be some cards in the back. And with that, welcome to our speaker this morning, and welcome to all of you. Thank you for coming.
Thank you, Robert. I'd also like to give a quick hello to everybody joining us on Zoom today. This is our first time opening up a Zoom link, and so if you're on the interwebs, good morning. I hope you're doing well and thank you for joining us. Did you enjoy a nice bagel or a cup of coffee this morning? So good, so delicious. I definitely did. We can thank our friends over at Adobe for sponsoring today's breakfast and coffee. Founded 40 years ago on the simple idea of creating innovative products that change the world, Adobe offers groundbreaking technology that empowers everyone, everywhere to imagine, create, and bring any digital experiences to life. So thank you to Adobe. And let's also give a big thank you round of applause to our amazing volunteers who arrived extra early this morning. So if you were a volunteer, could you please raise your hand so everybody knows who you are? Thank you so, so much. Our chapter is 100% volunteer led, and they helped bring today's event to life. If you would like to volunteer at a next upcoming event, we welcome you to do so. I have a notepad at the note card table where you can put your name and email. And we have an email that goes out about a week before each event with some sign up spaces to volunteer. I'd also like to thank our organizing team, so Pam, Lorraine, Amy, and Sophie, who are working super hard behind the scenes putting these events together. The past 5 months of talks would not have been possible without these amazing humans, so thank you so, so much. And now it's time for our 20-second pitches. So we'd like to ask anybody interested in pitching themselves to our audience in 20 seconds or less to join us by the stage. Maybe you're looking for a job, maybe you're hiring, maybe you have a fun event coming up. So now is your chance to let people know. We'll have to limit this to about 6 people just to stay on track with timing and everything. But I welcome anybody to the front of the stage.
Hi, everyone. My name is Ann Amos. I am the founder of Wild Visions Coaching. I'm a certified leadership and life coach. I have, excuse me, a focus on creative living in my practice. I'm also a certified Clifton Strengths coach. And the thing that makes me spicy and happy to get to our theme for this month is working with people who are feeling stuck and helping them unstick themselves. So I'm also certified yoga teacher. I have a 25-year career in nonprofit leadership as well. So bringing skills from a whole range of areas. I'm also an artist and a mom and a dancer.
Hi, I'm Susan Parker, and I have expertise in inclusive marketing, which means helping brands and ad agencies make sure that they're representing diverse identities in the creative they put out, as well as making sure that they're portraying people in authentic and positive ways. And so I'm available to come to agencies or brands to audit existing marketing and find areas to focus on, or to come do presentations about tips and tricks on avoiding stereotypes and common mistakes.
Hi, my name is Rob Levinson. I'm a corporate brand strategist and a personal brand coach. And I'm here to tell you about a workshop that I'm giving for the American Marketing Association here in San Francisco on May 23rd. It is a personal branding session. And basically, this is my premise, that everybody has a story about their life that they tell themselves again and again and again. But often that story is untrue, outdated, and not helping you in any way. But what I can do is help you figure out what your best story is, what your true story is, so you can go out into the world with greater confidence than you've ever had before. So it's the AMA, May 23rd. Come, please.
Anybody else? This is your opportunity, your chance. Okay. Before I bring on Persia and present her, I'd like to first read through the Creative Mornings Manifesto with you all. So everyone is creative. A creative life requires bravery and action, honesty and hard work. We are here to support you, celebrate with you, and encourage you to make things you love. We believe in the power of community. We believe in giving a damn. We believe in face-to-face connections, in learning from others, in hugs and high fives. We bring together people who are driven by passion and purpose, confident that they will inspire one another and inspire change in neighborhoods and cities around the world. Everyone is welcome. Thank you. Our theme for this month is spicy, and it was chosen by our Tucson chapter and illustrated by Sophie McTerr. And now I would like to introduce today's speaker, Persia. With a pedigree from weekly performances at the late iconic Esta Noche, her trajectory has gone on to include art curation, stand-up, television, and maybe a quinceañera or two in San Francisco, Los Angeles, and Mexico. Currently, she is a regular performer in the nationally acclaimed Drag Story Hour, as well as an educator in residence at an after-school arts program in the San Francisco Unified School District, profiled on KQED, National Public Radio, and CNN. So please help me in giving a warm welcome to Persia.
Thank you. How are we doing? Happy Friday. I'm a little nervous. I'm totally out of my comfort zone. I was just saying earlier that I'm used to talking to really happy people at night with a really spicy drinks, I guess. And or working with elementary students. So I'm definitely out of my comfort zone, but I'm always game for anything. Well, thank you so much for having me. And again, how are we doing? That's right. Well, when they asked me if I would speak, and then they told me what the theme was, I immediately said yes. Because that word, like many words, they hold so much weight, right? I've been called spicy many, many times. Has anyone here been called spicy? Spicy? And how did that make you feel? Did it make you feel sad, happy, confused? Good, okay. Encouraged, okay. Well, I want you to marinate on that because I really want to get some responses on that. Because I'm curious, because I have my own spicy story. Get into that. Let me tell you a little bit about myself. So my name is Per Sia or Persia. Either one works. Trust me, I've been called way worse. That's very true. Who I am is a trans Latina. Well, the Spanish was coming out. Trans Latina. And what I do is drag and teach. I was born and raised in South Central LA, and I've been living in San Francisco for the past 19 years. I know, I really do love this city. I always say that South Central LA is my hometown, but really the city that raised me as an adult and allowed me to be who I am today is San Francisco. Yes, the Bay. Amazing things happen here. And you know what? The world takes notice, but then they don't give us a recognition. I'm just saying. Especially things from the queer community, like the Sisters of Perpetual Indulgence. A lot of amazing organizations have started here in San Francisco and in the Bay Area, and then have flourished around the world, but yet we don't get the recognition. It's LA, New York. Even though I'm from LA. But anyway, I love San Francisco so much. Well, during the day, I work at a children's after-school arts program as a head teacher for first grade. Been there for about 10, okay, more than 10, but we'll just leave it at 10. And in our program, we learn and focus on mindfulness and social justice through art. Yeah, we do a lot of art. We build structures with popsicle sticks. And one of my coworkers calls me Persia, the drag queen builder, because I literally built a lot of things with popsicle sticks. If you follow me on Instagram, you'll see there's like a bridge, there's a tower, any opportunity. I love popsicle sticks. Um, um, and what else? What else? Yes. We learn about the power of storytelling and language, the importance of looking beyond our periphery in order to be kind to one another, and much, much more. I really do love the organization that I've been a part of for so long. And we have some great news, but I can't say it right now because then I'll get in trouble. But I'll just say pride. And then at night, I work with the big children, the adults. I host drag events, I perform, I lip sync for my life. And sometimes, just sometimes, I DJ. And I laugh because my transitions are, getting there. But you know what? I get away with it because I'm always like, the only truth that matters is mine. And then it was like, I'm perfect opportunity. Switch the song. See, you gotta be on your toes. Stay on your toes. So funny. Anyway, eh, in addition to all of that, I'm a very busy person. I pretty much work every day. I know I look gorgeous and hot, but I'm tired. And yeah, these are my sensible heels. I do a lot, but in addition, I am a founding member of the internationally acclaimed Drag Story Hour. Yes. Amazing, amazing. I'm the first performer to be part of this program. While I am completely aware that there have been Drag Story Hour events before this program, this is the first program of its kind, and it began here. Where? That's right. It was December 15th in the Castro, to be exact. Radar Productions, led by Michelle T, Virgie Tobar, and Julian Delgado, approached me about a new program called Drag Queen Story Hour. We later got rid of the queen to be more inclusive because there's drag kings, there's drag its, there's drag, all kinds of drag performers, because it doesn't matter how you identify, it's about bringing a character to life. But I'll get into that a little later. So we got rid of the queen part to be more inclusive. So they knew me. These folks from Radar Production knew me from the drag scene, but they also knew me from my, and I'm gonna age myself, my Facebook posts, my updates. I know. I was already told about 6 years ago that people who use Facebook are old from one of my students. So I get it. But I would always write like little funny like things that would happen during the day, and so they already worked with children during the day, and then at night I work with the big children. So when they came up with this Drag Story Hour program, they were like, "Girl, you're fingerprinted, you're good, you can work a stage. Just read a book to children." And I was like, I really didn't know what I was getting myself into, but I agreed. And for the very first time, seriously, I was so scared. For the very first time, my life as an educator and my life as a drag queen were merging. And that was so scary. That was so scary. Because all my life, never told directly to my face, but it was always implied that I needed to tone down my queerness. And that's before I transitioned too. I always joke that I'm more masculine now than before. But yeah, all my life, they've been like, "Oh, can you do this? Can you not wear that? This is more school appropriate." Oh, that's my favorite line. This is more school appropriate. Because I was wearing some rainbow thing. So anyway, so it was the first time my worlds were together. And that's scary. And and all of a sudden, here I am reading books in drag to some of my students and their families. I was freaking out. I was freaking out. But you know what? I was like, I'm game for anything. Let's do this. So there I was reading. I'm this little bear. Oh. But for the very first time, I didn't have to hide anything. I was proud to be a drag queen. I was proud to be an educator. And as one of my students' parents who were there said to me while hugging me, thank you for being yourself. All I want for my kid is for them to be themselves. And by you being yourself, you let my kid know that they can pursue anything they want. Thank you for leading by example. And if you know me, many of you don't, I cry like that. I'm surprised I didn't start crying reading that right now. But it was so touching because again, for all my life, I've been told, whether it be at work or just regular life, that you are too queer, that I could not be myself. And to be in a space where both my drag persona, my queerness, and my teacherness all together and being celebrated was really shocking to me. I was like, but beautiful, beautiful for sure. And yes, I did start crying after, once everyone left. I didn't know it at the time, but this program would change my life. This is why I say I'm the luckiest drag queen in the world, because I get to do everything I love. I get to merge my love of the classroom with my love of drag. Now, fast forward to a year and a half ago. Things are going great. I'm doing drag story hours at schools, senior centers, museums, libraries, hospitals, universities, and beyond. I'm beginning to incorporate art projects with my drag story hour. I am feeling great and doing great when suddenly the right-wing media decided that we are the problem and things, as you all know, take a nasty turn. A program that brings joy, self-acceptance, mindfulness, and love was turned into a political tool. I, with my drag story hour siblings, became headline news. We had been a fun and loving program that had been turned into a media circus. Our drag, our program, had been overly simplified. They chose to focus only on narrow aspects of drag, reducing it to sexualization and ignoring its depth and diversity. They ignored the truth essence of drag, which is emphasizing its artistic and inclusive nature. It was sad, dangerous, and out of control. It really was. Thank God for therapy. As an educator, I tailor my teachings or projects to different age groups. Just as education needs to adapt to pursue the understanding and the needs of different learners, so does drag performance to suit its audiences. Isn't that obvious though? Not for some people. Drag is indeed an art form, rich with creativity, storytelling, and character development. It transcends simplistic labels and stereotypes. I do believe that drag story hour performers are like moving murals. We read stories that are often not told in the mainstream media while wearing larger than life outfits, makeup, wigs, hair, and sometimes even nails. Like murals, drag is an art form that tells stories that seek to engage the mind. So at that moment, we became inhuman in the eyes of those folks, Fox News folks, right-wing folks, and many other folks. And that allowed them the freedom to hate and threaten us. It was a very stressful time. As a visibly trans person, I, like many other trans folks, encounter daily, yes, I said it, daily, even here in San Francisco, micro and not so microaggressions. And suddenly those aggressions were amplified and televised. Oh, yeah. And today, but I carried on with the support of my friends and family. And today I stand here as a very hardworking, strong, trans Latina storyteller. Oh, thank you. Storyteller, drag performer, educator. I was going to put DJ in there, but I'm still working on that. Who only wants people to be mindful. I do believe that storytelling can bring us together, because if I knew your story, your story, your story, your story, your story, and you knew my story, my story, my story, my story, and then if City Hall knew all of our stories, in our government too, we would be a lot more kind to one another, and we would vote a lot more mindfully too. Which brings me back to the word spicy. So that was a little bit about me, or maybe a lot. So again, I'm going to ask, how many people have been called spicy? So what's your definition of spicy? Just shout it out. It's fine. Attitude. What else? Hot. What else? Labor. What else? Aggressive. Yes. Well, according to Webster, spicy is an adjective. And it has several, it says here, definitions. 1, having the quality, flavor, or fragrance of spice. 2, producing or abounding in spices. Lively, spirited, piquant, racy. But what does Urban Dictionary say? Because sometimes you gotta look, because you gotta know, right? So according to Urban Dictionary, definitions are, but not limited to, hot, sexy, sarcastic, sassy. And they provide an example. Are you ready? It says guy, because of course. That chick is spicy. Dang. The word spicy can carry different meanings and connotations depending on context and intent. While some may use it in a playful or admiring way, others might employ it in a more stereotypical or even derogatory manner. It's essential to consider the nuances of language and how words can impact individuals and communities. I've been called a spicy Latina many times, and it seems innocuous, but being called a spicy Latina reduces me to a stereotype and my complex identities to simplistic, exoticized characteristics. It is imperative that we recognize the power of language and the importance of using words respectfully and responsibly. I also tell my students that words carry weight, and when used incorrectly can bring love, joy, and happiness. But when used incorrectly, well, hate tends to spread really fast. Really? I'm almost out of time, sorry. So I invite you to think about words that promote awareness and thoughtful language. Because at the end of the day, we want to create a more inclusive and respectful environment where everyone feels seen, loved, and respected, which is what we do at Drag Story Hour. I was gonna read a letter that I got from an elementary school in the Mission. I was asked to be their grand marshal because of all the work that I do. And it was so special that I get recognized at such a local level, because we had this conversation earlier that sometimes we think that we need to go big to make an impact, but sometimes it really just takes one person. So use spicy carefully and mindfully, especially when told towards a person. And I was gonna read, you know what, and I am gonna read this because this is one of my favorite books. And I put some of my favorite books up here that I like to read during Drag Story Hour. And there are all kinds of books. They're about art, being cranky, my agenda, being bilingual, and how to use language in a uh, in a gender inclusive manner in Spanish. But I want to read this because this is my favorite book. Bodies are cool, and I'm going to need help. So when I say bodies are what, you're going to say. And you should check it out if you want to check it out after this. But I'm going to end with this. The end. I'm gonna end with the last page because it's so important. I really love this book because really right now, we are so divided in so many ways and so many things, but we have more in common that we don't. So I love reading this book because it reminds us it's so simple. All bodies are cool. So you're gonna help me at the end. You're gonna say cool really loud, okay? Because one of my favorite things about my jobs is that I get to be loud in spaces that I'm normally not allowed to. So at museums, I always tell the kids, and they're like, so let's pretend that we're not here. Then we're out in the open, and you wanna yell to our siblings over in Oakland. So get into that mindset. So my body, your body. Every different kind of body, all of them. Zoom. All of them are good bodies because bodies are what? Thank you so much.
Thank you, Perja, so much. I also just noticed, do you have Muni earrings on?
Just because I believe in public transportation.
I'm very obsessed with those. Well, thank you so much. We'd like to move on to a Q&A, and we'll open this up to Zoom as well. So Zoom, if you guys have any questions, put them in the chat and we'll come to you after in-person questions. I also wanted to say before we end things that if you want to drop off your name tag after the talk on these white papers over here, we want to like kind of make a collage of them and share them with everybody on social. So that would be great. So any questions? We'll open up the floor.
To get started in drag.
Funny story. I moved. I went to UC Santa Cruz as for my undergrad. Yeah, go Slugs. Marrow legs. Cardiac hill. Yeah. And, so I did my undergrad in art and education, focus in photography because I thought I was going to be a photo teacher. And then I moved back home to LA, and then I was working there nonstop, and I was living at home, and I was like, oh no. So then I moved up here I went to SFAI for a 1-year post-bac program in photography. And what got me into the program here was that I love drag performers. I really do. They are I never thought that I would become one, but I used to take pictures of drag performers in LA at this place that no longer exists called Circus Disco. And every Friday night, they would have all these hot trans and non-trans Latinas, Latinos, Latines performing. And I was just like with my little camera. So that's what got me into that one program. Then once I moved here, I sort of encountered the non-Hollywood version of drag. And I was going to, South of Market, checking out all those events, and sort of I started rejecting photography. And then as a dare, they're like, you should perform. I was like, okay, let's do it. And here we are 17 years later. So yeah, it was an accident. But I'm a great believer that you should just lean into whatever, just be for the most part, be game for anything because you never know what's going to happen. I never thought I was going to be a drag educator, and here I am.
I'm curious about energy. Like you give so much energy and are so generous, you know, to like, I think that's what performers do, but especially drag performers. I'm curious, like, if it ever doesn't give you energy or you feel like you're giving too much or things that you do that help you like fill back up again.
Yes, thank you. Thank you for asking that question because it's really important. And I know a lot of drag performers, and we all deal with it differently. For me, working at the after school arts program, it sort of helps ground me because it's not about me, it's about the children, and it's about keeping them safe. I have like 35 students, give or take every other day, and at the after school program, and two of them have broken arms, and I'm always like, oh my God, and they're calling me drama queen because I'm constantly like, be careful, blah, blah, blah. But so that sort of takes me out of my energy and sort of like restores my energy. But also when I go home, I just I'm like in bed. I'm not doing anything. My favorite thing in the whole entire world is my bed. So I'm just there. And I do take the last 2 weeks of the year off, and I just lock myself in my room and I just recharge. And so those are my 2 weeks of recharging because it takes a lot of energy. It really does.
I'm not speaking about you specifically, but what do you think is the biggest misperception about drag performers in general?
That we're just simple drag performers. I think that's what it is. I do believe that drag performers hold so much space and in our, especially in our queer community, and now beyond that because of the popularity of RuPaul's Drag Race. So we hold so much power, and yet we're not giving the respect or the money or anything because we we bring the energy. I'm not dressed up right now, but you know, when you're all in your regalia, like you're your own makeup artist for the most part, your own hair person, your own stylist, your own everything, really. And so you're the whole package. And people don't see that. They don't see the 2 or 3 hours that it took you to get ready. They don't see when I get home and I'm like, oh, my feet. Oh, you know. And so I think I think we don't get enough credit. I think that's the biggest to answer your question. I think that's what it is. We don't get enough credit, and we're dismissed. And I know I am dismissed a lot of the times, but also I make that work for me. So I've been in spaces that because I'm not seen as a threat, I'm just seen as like, oh, she's just a performer. And so I've been in really interesting spaces, and then I start asking questions, and they're like, who brought her in, and why is she here? They're like, oh, we should invite you back. And then I never get invited. But you know, it's about starting up conversations. You know, we're so scared to ask questions, and also we're so scared to listen. So but yes, I think that's what it is. I think for me at least, and some of my friends, we don't get enough credit because we do a lot.
Thank you so much for your presentation or talk, by the way. But as an educator, what are some things you want to see changed in the system at general, or like how we view education right now?
Oh, that's a loaded question. Do we have all day? Working in the after school program, that's another thing. I don't think after school arts teachers get enough credit either. We're underpaid. And it's a vital thing for young kids to be in after school programs because we know that kids who do go to after school programs, they're less likely to join gangs. It's such a positive thing for the community, and yet educators, well, educators in general are just not treated well. And I think when we start valuing our educators, then I think things will change a little bit, because it's sad. We have some great educators getting let go at city college level, great teachers who are not getting supported at the elementary level. And if you have money, then that's great, because then you can send your kid to that private school that costs 50 grand a year. And that's wonderful. And you should have the liberty, and that's your right to send your kid to a private school if you want. But at the same time, kids who don't have that money should be able to have basic education with all of that BS bureaucracy. Oh, thank you. And because of Drag Story Hour, I've been in spaces like that. And I've been in the hills of Oakland. And I'm like, dang, I've been robbed of my education. Because, LAUSD. But yeah, it's like we need to start valuing our education a lot more. And I think that's when things will change. But also at like the district level at SCORE, it is such a hot mess. I try to figure out because for a minute, I know I'm talking too much, but for a minute, I was working with middle schoolers on Wednesdays, and we were trying to figure out how the power in the school district trickled down, and we couldn't figure it out. There's all like you go to the website and you're like, oh well, the superintendent, but then there's a superintendent for that, and then there's this and there's that. So then I go to the principal and I was like, okay, so we're trying to figure this out. Because at our school and our after school program, we already have like the tree. So it's like our main boss and how everything gets trickled down power wise. But for the SFUSD, I couldn't figure it out. And so if I can't figure it out as a old ass person, how are the kids gonna feel like welcome, loved, protected when they don't even know what's going on over here? Like no one does. So I don't know what the solution is for that, but we need to get it together.
We had one more question from Zoom. Where can we see your next performance?
I'm my worst publicist, but this Saturday I'll be doing a performance at the Stud that's opening this weekend on Folsom. So they open officially on Saturday, but I'll be there on Sunday for SF Urban Film. They're throwing an event there, and they're showing a short documentary on Viva. It's called Viva 16, and then it's a short documentary of the 16th Street in the Mission, the corridor there, and how they used to have Latino gay bars. Now there's thankfully there's a lesbian bar now. Thank God. Thank God for a mother. But that whole strip was queer and brown, and this little short documentary about it, it's amazing. So if you can, go check it out. So it's at 5:30. No, that's my call time. 6 at 6, and then I'll be doing another number there. But also before that, I'll be at El Rio. Does everyone know El Rio? By the way, I am the queen of El Rio. You can see my picture, the one they had over here. That's the one. I'll be performing and DJ for their party called Daytime Realness. And my performance is gonna be fun. That's all I'm gonna say. And then next week, I don't know if anyone's gonna be at the Othering and Belonging Conference in Oakland. So I'll be in a panel there about talking about how trans people, non-binary people, and other queer folks sort of manage micro and not so microaggressions in just like regular, whatever regular is, regular environments like the bus or walking down the street. So we'll be having a conversation about that. It's in Oakland, near the lake. See, I need a sister. I can't do everything. It's OBI or OBI. I think it is. And yes, it's Thursday, Friday, Saturdays. So I'll be there Saturday morning.
And what was your Instagram so people could follow you?
My Instagram, and I post a lot of Insta stories, so apologies if you follow me. It's at PER_SIA.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. And before I go, I'm not funny, but my life is
Thank you so much, Persia. And thank you all for coming out this morning. One of the biggest takeaways, I loved what you said about being an example for children and living in your own truth and, listening to who you are and stepping into the world that way. So I encourage all of you to try and do that this weekend and have a beautiful day. Unfortunately, we have to be out of here. Sophie and I both have meetings at 10:30, so we kind of gotta head out pretty quickly. But we encourage you to please take conversations outside. And yeah, we'll see you next month. Thank you.